Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Thursday, November 16th, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with AEW Dynamite broadcast live last night on TBS from the Toyota Center in Ontario, California. In the closing segment of the show, AEW World Champion MJF was laid out during an in-ring promo by the combined forces of Bullet Club Gold, Jay White, Juice Robinson, and the Guns.
The Guns, MJF, a marked man, walking into the fabulous Kia Forum in Los Angeles this Saturday, live on pay-per-view. MJF laid low by Jay White and Bullet Club Gold as Samoa Joe, very ominous.
That offer stands, MJF. You might want to take Joe up on it.
In the main event of the evening, Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, Kota Ibushi, and Paul White defeated Konosuke Takeshita, Powerhouse Hobbs, Kyle Fletcher, and Brian Cage in a Like a Dragon Gaiden street fight when Omega pinned Cage. After the match, it was announced online that Ibushi had officially signed with AEW. In the opening match, Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli of the Blackpool Combat Club defeated the team of International Champion Orange Cassidy and FTW Champion Hook. Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page engaged in an in-ring confrontation ahead of their match this weekend at Full Gear. Page laid out Strickland's manager Prince Nana to end the segment.
And Swerve, there's one thing, Leslie, I forgot to mention. Tonight's stipulation was that you and I couldn't lay hands on one another. But Nana, they ain't said shit about us.
Hangman just Prince Nana, look at Swerve.
He can't do the swerve. His defenses, he can't do anything to help him.
And the security is there, but not before Nana got laid out. Now Hangman just throwing haymakers.
That was very smart of Hangman. Oof, because remember, Nana also was in Hangman's home.
Hangman Adam Page delivering a message. Shot, lariat.
Chris Jericho and the Young Bucks got into a pull-apart brawl backstage in a post-match angle following the Bucks' win over Pentel Zero Miedo and Commander. In other results, Samoa Joe beat John Cruz, and Sky Blue defeated Red Velvet to earn a spot in the three-way match at Full Gear, also involving Julia Hart and TBS champion Chris Statlander. In ratings news, last Tuesday's edition of NXT brought in 703,000 viewers to USA Network, according to WrestleNomics. That's down 11% from last week's audience of 794,000. In the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic, the rating was .21, down from last week's .26 key demo rating. In legal news, WWE has reached a settlement with Panini, the trading card company that had previously been a licensee. According to a statement released yesterday, the two sides came to a settlement agreement over the course of a series of meetings during last month and this month, and we're in the process of putting the agreement in writing. The details of the agreement are not known. Last month, Panini alleged that WWE had terminated its licensing partnership without warning and made a new deal with card company Fanatics, which they claimed was in violation of their original deal. WWE had indicated dissatisfaction with the product being put out by Panini, which the company offered as a cause for the abrupt termination of the agreement. And in Impact Wrestling news, former Knockouts World Champion Mickie James is taking a break from Impact, according to a report from PW Insider. James is no longer listed on Impact's roster page and isn't scheduled to compete for them going forward. According to the report, James's relationship with Impact remains strong, and the door is open for her returning to action at any time. James had been a regular part of the Impact Women's Division since returning to the company in 2021. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, Follow the wrestling news across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the wrestling news. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.